worked all week on this project for booze, and we've all come together again on Friday. What we've done is we've looked at customers, we've looked at competitors, and we've looked at product lines, and we've made some decisions individually using SWOT analysis, SLEPS analysis, and we're now at the point where Luigi's very keen on going for an overall cost reduction for the company to make it leaner and meaner, and we're looking for a cost reduction for something like 10%. We've agreed that part of our tactics for our strategy is to reduce sales prices overall for all our brands, all product lines by 10%. And we're going to launch a new product line, but I think even this is going to be 10% lower than perhaps, Kazu, your understanding of the market was. So when I look at the budget says 3 product lines. This, I think, as you as sales director, is your understanding of the marketplace. This is your market research, and you say, well, this is possible for us. Sales price this, turnover of this, and a profit contribution, and that's within the budget. And I think when we looked at strategies, we said cost leadership is one. People that can drive down the prices can follow a cost leadership strategy. What we have at the moment with the company is it's differentiated slightly with its product lines, but we're moving, because of these cost-saving opportunities, towards a cost leadership strategy. Everyone okay with that? Cousin? Yeah. So, question now, how are we going to do it? What do we need to set in place? What do we specifically need to achieve to get this right? So, at the beginning of the week, we started talking about objectives, and we said they should be SMART. So now, the overall goal, the overall aim, is to have a successful product line and a successful company. That's the goal, that's the aim. But to do that, you need to be much more disciplined. So we need to have some specific objectives that are measurable, so specific what we're going to do, exactly. Can we measure our success? Can we actually achieve these things? Are they relevant to where we want to be, and by what time? Now we have a budget period of 1 year, so that should be our time frame, I think, by the end of the year. So I think sensibly, we have 2 production people sitting together here, a production planning, plant manager. We have you as the entrepreneurial, financial, sales, and I think naturally a CEO, chairman type role. I think what would be the best thing to do is to have Luigi and Marion thinking of some SMART objectives for the cost reduction exercise. How we're going to get a 10% cost saving, and plan that. Then perhaps for the sales and the product line and the continuation of our product lines, we need a more marketing and sales orientation. So I think perhaps Kazu, if you can work with Alexandros, if you 2 change places. And then I think generally, with your knowledge of markets and how to launch a product, if you work, and Joachim's financial background, if you work together more generically to think, right, what else do we need to do? What else can we do to make this a success? Now, Robert's introduced the idea of recycling vocabulary, so let's try to use as much vocabulary in this as possible. Now, apologies to Marion and to Luigi, but I've given you this tense system this morning. Each one of you, with you a little bit, but each one of you has worked quite intensively on this. You all recognise this.
It's the same with the other.
Yeah. So it would be nice to think, when we're having this discussion, and we've formulated some objectives, that after the coffee break, we can talk quite confidently and fluently with the language that we've had, but also perhaps introducing some of these tenses. Now, you remember this future perfect continuous. By the time I'm 65, I will have been working for 40 years. So just as a small example here, if you can begin to use this language, Kazu, as well, if you can, and I'm only concentrating on this 1/10 for the moment, but if you can use something like, by the time we reach the end of the budget period, we will have been selling Booze Light for a year. Do you understand the use of the term?
I understand, but it's more in the future.
Yes. So we can look at our budget period And we should look to the future, and we'll say, this is a budget, this is how we want sales to go, because this was our projection. So as a simple example of that, by the time we reach the end of our budget period, we will have been selling, we will have been marketing, people will have been drinking
Okay.
this beer for 12 months. So you're looking to the future and then looking back to now. Yep. That's an example of how you might use that tense. Yeah. So Joachim has been introduced to this week. We didn't do too much work on this. We'll do this again this afternoon in a different way. But for you, Alexandros, we spent a lot of time on this. We spent a lot of time on this. Kazu, we spent a lot of time on this. So as much language as we can use. So I think if we spend 15, 20 minutes working in pairs to find some objectives for these areas. So cost reduction for you two, overall company cost reduction. What do we need to do? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and timed. Yeah. Same for you with the product itself. What are you going to do? We're discounting prices, what needs to be achieved. We're launching a new product for you two. And generically, what you consider to be appropriate to move this forward. So can I just ask you two to change places?
But generically, it's very difficult to put one
But you can see the way, I think. Yeah.